And happy July ending, ladies and gentlemen. It's the end of July, and it's been hot as blazes. But anyway, welcome to Lyndhurst Community News. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, the second to last day of the month. Hard to believe. This is episode 95. And I'd like to welcome all of you this week. I hope everybody's been enjoying their summer. And as I always say, after the 4th of July, the summer just seems to disappear. It just flies by. The next thing you know, it's going to be Labor Day weekend. And I feel that each summer goes faster and faster. And it seems hotter and hotter, at least to me. I notice that the older I get, the less time I want to be outside when it's hot. I wind up spending most of my time in the air conditioning. Thank God for that. And I remember growing up saying to my mother, what did you do? Because she was born in 1933. There was no air conditioning back then. And I asked her, how did you all keep cool? What did you do? She said, well, for one thing, we didn't know any better, which is true, because if you don't have air conditioner and nobody else does, you don't know what you're missing. But she said they used a lot of fans, and I remember, even when I was a kid, those old fans, they were heavy, they were big, and they were powerful. Not like the plastic things you buy at Home Depot today. Those things used to really give off one heck of a breeze. But also, it's the same reason why, and this is very common here in Lyndhurst, why everybody spent the winters in their basement. People had basement kitchens. They'd call them summer kitchens, and it was the coolest part of the house where everybody could come together. And even to this day, my basement, even though I have air conditioning, my basement is always the coolest part of the house. And I spend much of my time down there, in the evening watching television, because it's basically 67 degrees all the time, and I love it. But anyway, summer's really moving by quickly. I've got some things to share at the end of today's newscast that Joe Cafone, our historian, has sent, the author of his history books on Lyndhurst. And it's all about things that happened in August. He did post them to Facebook. Many of you probably already seen it, but he did send it to me, and I think it's something worth sharing, especially as we move into August. Now, again, as I always say, I don't do the news every week in the summer because there's really not much going on at all. But there are some things to report that are coming up, especially coming up in September. So it's never too early to mark your calendars for various things that you may be interested in. So just a reminder, too, as we get back into the year, if you have any news from your club, organization, sport, school, team, church, whatever it may be, or as well as birthdays and anniversaries of note, just send them to LyndhurstCommunityNews at gmail.com, and I will leave that, as always, in the description box. So here's something that is coming up in September. You can mark your calendars for September 24th, when the Lyndhurst Police Emergency Squad will be hosting a night of dinner and illusion with what they're calling magic and meatballs. Actually, I'm sorry, it's meatballs and magic. I got that reversed. It's a fundraiser, obviously, that we have a volunteer emergency squad. We have paid people during the day, obviously, because people have to work. But then in the evening, we have all the volunteers who come out, just as we do with the fire department. So that's going to be September 24th at the Senior Building, which is located on Cleveland Avenue. It starts at 6:30, and the tickets are $30 per person. Now, while you dine on delicious eats, you could enjoy the jaw-dropping performances of professional musicians from Ring 113, which is the Lyndhurst chapter of the International Brotherhood of Magicians. And I never knew to this day that we actually had an international chapter of the Brotherhood of Magicians here in Lyndhurst. So after you eat, a live stage magic show will also follow dinner. Now, ticket information is available at the flyer, but there's also a link here that I will put in the description box when you can buy your tickets right online. So remember, this is to support the Lyndhurst Police Volunteer Emergency Squad. And let's show them our thanks by giving them that support and enjoying some meatballs and magic. All right, and Pastor Martha Day of the United Presbyterian Church of Lyndhurst has sent me in the following. So on Saturday, August 16th at 3 p.m., the United Presbyterian Church of Lyndhurst, which is at 511 Ridge Road, that's the church that's across from St. Michael's on the corner of Page and Ridge, they're inviting the community to a free concert on the inside lawn. Now, that's that nice little grassy knoll, so to speak, to the left of the church. It's they're going to be having, a free concert, and they're going to be featuring the Foggy Minded Boys, as well as the Fogettes. I wonder if they're related. As well as Friends, Fogettes and Friends. It says here it will be air-conditioned, though I don't know how you're going to pull that off, but that's what she says. And light refreshments will be served. So, again, that's going to be on Sunday, August 16th at 3 p.m. at the United Presbyterian Church and their beautiful lawn on the side that rolls down to what used to be the parsonage, where the pastor would live. However, Pastor Martha Day does not live there, as was the case years ago with some past pastors. So mark your calendar. That's something nice to do. Hopefully, again, it won't be too hot. And I'm going to be really curious to see how they're going to have air conditioning for an outdoor event. Either way, that's our friends at the United Presbyterian Church, 511 Ridge Road. And, of course, as fall is coming, so will be the return of football season, namely Lyndhurst High School Golden Bear football season. This is their 100th season, by the way. They were established in 1926. So we want to give them a congratulations. And, of course, as always, Coach Tuero and the coaches do a wonderful job with these young men. They not only coach them well, they help raise wonderful young men. I remember back at the feast, every year when the feast in the park is over, the last night, the football team shows up to help break it all down, which is such a blessing, and we are so grateful to them. Anyway, the coach has released the schedule for this upcoming year. It's going to begin on August 28th, where they will team up against Westwood at 6 p.m. Then on September 5th, they'll be at New Milford at 7 p.m. At September 13th, they'll be at Lodi at 1 p.m. September 19th, they face off against Garfield at 6:30 p.m. October 3rd, getting so ahead of ourselves in time here. October 3rd, they will be at Beckton at 6:30 p.m. October 10th, they're going to play against Elmwood Park at 6:30 p.m. October 17th, the NJIC crossover, which will be announced at that point what time it'll be, as well as October 24th, again, the NJIC crossover will also be announced what time that will be. So we wish the Bears a wonderful season, and as always, we'll be catching up with them once the season kicks off to hear from our seniors and our coach as to what they're expecting for the upcoming season. And, of course, as September comes around, so does school. The kids go back to school. So it's that time of the year again. It's never too early to start preparing. So for Lyndhurst residents that need school supplies, we're going to have Project Backpack, which we do every summer here in town. That's where you can come and pick up school supplies. That will be held at the Lyndhurst Health Department, which is 253 Stuyvesant Avenue. It will be Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Come in with your school supplies list, and this begins on Monday, August 11th. They're also open to donations, so if you'd like to donate to this event, please feel free to do so. Again, that will be at the Health Department, 253 Stuyvesant Avenue, Monday, August 11th, for the whole week, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So get your school list together and get your kids all set for that lovely time of the year that every child looks forward to, going back to school. And finally, join us for the Lyndhurst Blood Drive, which will be on Thursday, August 21st, at the Lyndhurst Community Center, which is located at 255 Riverside Avenue. That's right behind the, I believe, that's next to the Little League field, I believe, right off of Riverside Avenue. It's that building all the way in the back that sits on the river. And that will be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you're interested, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, which is also 1-800-733-2767, or you can just visit redcrossblood.org and enter Lyndhurst to schedule an appointment. So streamline your donation experience and save up to 15 minutes by visiting redcrossblood.org/rapidpass to complete your pre-donation reading and health history questions on the day of your appointment. So give between August 1st to the 28th to receive a $15 e-gift card, and successful donations get an A1C testing, by the way. So you can find more information on the LyndhurstNJ.org official township website. All right, so as I said earlier, I have some stuff that Joe Cafone, who has authored 2 amazing books on Lyndhurst history, the most definitive Lyndhurst history that I've ever seen. Joe, having spent his career as an investigator, a police officer, a detective, so he put those skills to use and did about the most intensive, immense research that I've ever seen on anything and all things Lyndhurst. So he sent this to me, and I know he posted this on Facebook about historical things that have taken place in the month of August regarding our township. So the first thing he's got here is that 53 years ago, on August 19th, 1972, the Lyndhurst Branch Post Office at 436 Valleybrook Avenue was formally dedicated. 78 years ago, on August 5th, 1947, Patrolman Thomas Albino became the 5th Lyndhurst officer to be killed in the line of duty, and I believe that he was also the last, hopefully forever, Lyndhurst officer to lose his life. And the town, one of the township parks on the corner of Orient Way and Valleybrook Avenue is named and dedicated to his memory and in his honor. 89 years ago, on August 6, 1936, the Lyndhurst Fire Prevention Bureau was established. 112 years ago, on August 12, 1913, a major change in the form of government occurred. The Lyndhurst Board of Commissioners replaced what was once called the Lyndhurst Township Committee. And that was the same year that the Walsh Act, which defines the commission form of government, which is the form of government under which Lyndhurst operates. That was the year the Walsh Act came to being, and Lyndhurst changed its form of government to reflect it. The difference being that now each commissioner, and believe me, at the time, up until 1937's election, there were only 3 commissioners, not 5. Now, that had to do with the population. The population of the township was far less back then. But anyway, each commissioner then is given direction over a specific department. Those 3 departments at the time were public safety, revenue and finance, and roads, the Department of Roads, which later morphed into 2 separate departments, the Department of Public Works, and of course that was basically what it was, but also the Department of Parks and Recreation, which emerged later on when we had 5 commissioners. So yeah, that was 1913. 113 years ago, August 2nd, 1912, the Lyndhurst Police Department's very first official motor vehicle, a motorcycle, went into service. That's true. There were so few cars, nobody had them, including police. They were using horses back then in the day. So that's 113 years ago. Wow. So, of course, all of these came from his latest book, Back to Lyndhurst, Lyndhurst Police, New Jersey, Early Histories, Facts and Stories. And that's, again, Joe Cafone, a Lyndhurst resident and former police officer, and he worked up at the county in his latter years, as I said, as an investigator. So you definitely want to get a hold of Joe's books. They're on Amazon.com. They're wonderful. Every home, every Lyndhurst family should have it, because if you're from an old Lyndhurst family, chances are somebody in your family is going to be in that book, or those books, rather. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and it was nice to speak with you all again today. I don't know if we'll be back next week, but again, if news pops up or if there's something to report, especially any new construction going on, you'll be the first to know. But in the meantime, as we continue throughout the midpoint of the summer, fall will be here before we know it. And hopefully, I know that starting Thursday, which is tomorrow, because today is Wednesday, we're going to cool off greatly. It looks like for the first at least 9 days of August, you may not need air conditioning, at least not at night. It's going to be dipping down into the 60s, in a low, mid-60s, which is beautiful, because I would rather open the windows and sleep with fresh air. Don't you notice how much better you sleep when you have the windows open and you're sleeping with fresh air? I mean, air conditioning's great, but you really get so tired of being closed in all of the time. So that's going to be some relief, which will be wonderful. But as I always say, you know, Lyndhurst is a wonderful community, and a community is not its roads, not its buildings or its homes. It is its people. So get to know your neighbors. Summertime's a great time to get to know your neighbors. Build relationships. Look after the elderly, especially when it gets hot. See if they need anything from the store. So you could pick it up for them so they don't have to go out and bear the heat. The heat has a much worse effect on elderly than it does on young people. So always remember that. Same with your dogs. You don't think it's hot? Well, you think it's hot. Imagine going outside in a fur coat in July. So look after your animals as well. Anyway, folks, this is Brian Haggerty, and I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. I will see you soon. God bless you all, and God bless the Township of Lyndhurst.